The Diplomatic Perspective. The Diplomatic Perspective with your host, Suleiman Al-Zahifi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another episode of The Diplomatic Perspective with your host, Suleiman Al-Zahifi. Every episode, ladies and gentlemen, we have head of states, ambassadors, diplomats joining us here in the capital city of Riyadh, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and today is no different. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome to the studio His Excellency the Pakistani Ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Ameer Rathore, an individual who is proudly representing the government, the people, and the culture of Pakistan to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much for joining us, Your Excellency.
Wa alaikum assalam, Mr. Suleiman, and it's a pleasure being here, and thank you very much for the invite.
It's an absolute pleasure and honor, Your Excellency, especially, the Pakistani people all around the world. They're very friendly, very nice, and they have an amazing sense of humor. This is what I love about them. And they're very hospitable, especially the delicious food, as we were talking earlier.
Yeah, certainly, yes. It's a part of our culture, and it is not very different from the Saudi culture. Yeah. So I think you understand the similarities.
Indeed. And Your Excellency, introduce yourself, tell us more about yourself for our dear listeners at home.
Well, I'm here in Saudi Arabia. I'm fortunate enough to be here in Saudi Arabia for the last almost 7 months. And before coming here, I was ambassador in Canada, and I'm a career diplomat. So I've been working in this domain for the last almost 30 years.
30 years?
Yeah.
MashaAllah.
Yeah. Been posted to almost all the continents around the world. But before you ask me the question, I can assure you this is one of my most favorite places that I have served. So Riyadh is one of the best places that I have served in my life.
Alhamdulillah, we're very honored and happy to hear that, Your Excellency. So you've been here for only 7 months.
Yes.
So you came at the right time.
Yes, that's the best part of it. We have had the relationship with Saudi Arabia, which spans centuries. Pakistan came into existence in 1947, but the relationship of the people of our area with Saudi Arabia is much, much older, centuries. We have the same culture, we have the same religion, we have the same sensibilities. So yes, this is just 7 months I'm here, but I feel like I understand Saudi Arabia much more than any person could understand in 7 months.
It's amazing. After 30 years, you come to Saudi Arabia, and you've been to many countries. You've been to Canada. What other countries were you ambassador of?
Well, I have had the privilege of living in Egypt, in UAE, in Malaysia, in Thailand, for a little while in Switzerland, in the US, in Germany, and in Canada. Yeah, this is that's all about it.
So you've seen every season.
Yeah. Yes.
Every season. So yeah.
That's the way we live.
I always ask a different ambassador, what's your favorite? Is it hot, cold, or still undecided?
Well, extremes are not nice. Moderation is always better. And in Saudi Arabia, when Saudi Arabia is hot, but so is Pakistan. So we are used to the heat and we can work around it. But in Riyadh, it's the weather normally is such nice. I enjoy sitting outside these days, almost invariably every day. I prefer to take my dinner outside. So it's a very nice weather these days.
So it's like eating one with nature.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, these days has definitely been, alhamdulillah, very blessed.
Yes.
The weather is cooling, and it's time for outdoors.
Yes.
Not so much in the summer, but
yes. Yes,
So, yeah.
indeed.
So you 7 months, you're still getting to know Saudi Arabia. You've been in the region. You've been to Egypt. You've been to UAE. So you understand the culture of the Arabs and you understand the region. Saudi Arabia is different, especially nowadays with a lot of changes happening. So please tell us, elaborate more about your experience here in the kingdom, and what were some highlights during your official visit? I know it's been 7 months, but I feel like you're very proactive, mashallah. 30 years experience as a diplomat.
Thank you. Well, as you alluded to it earlier, I feel lucky to be in Saudi Arabia in a time which is transformative for the Saudi society. I am so happy, and from the bottom of my heart, it makes me proud when I see Saudi Arabia developing at a pace that it is these days. It is nothing less than a miracle,
Alhamdulillah.
transforming a society, such a traditional society, in such a calm, organized manner, with such meticulous planning. It is wondrous. It is one really enjoys, and it feels like you are seeing history unfold in front of your eyes. And this transformation in Saudi Arabia is very, very heartening. My best wishes, and my like all Pakistanis, when Saudi Arabia, we have such a emotional relationship between the people of Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, that whenever something good is happening in Saudi Arabia, it makes us proud. It feels like that we are doing it. So it's very heartening to be here, and it's really amazing to see the country change for better.
Alhamdulillah, and I'm sure many people think like, oh, Saudi Arabia is doing amazing, but it's also like the success is Saudi Arabia's success of many nations around the world, because like many nations are part of that, from companies, from expertise, from knowledge, from hardworking people, just like from Pakistan, the expat community of Pakistanis living here, the Muslims coming for Hajj pilgrimage and anything, they are part of the success of Saudi Arabia.
Indeed, that's how we feel. We have had, as I mentioned, we have had the relationship that we have is the relationship based, rooted in the people.
Indeed.
People of both countries. Pakistanis have been contributing tremendously towards the development of Saudi Arabia, and as on the other hand, the Saudi leadership, the Saudi government have been taking care of our expatriates the best way possible. Even today we have more than 2 million Pakistanis in Saudi Arabia.
MashaAllah, it's a large number.
Yes, it is. And by the way, the emotional attachment of Pakistanis with Saudi Arabia, which is in the minds of Pakistanis, Saudi Arabia is the land of two holy mosques, and that is extremely important for Pakistanis. The raison d'être of Pakistan is its Islamic identity. And if you have Islamic identity, you cannot escape but have a deep emotional relationship with the land where the two holy mosques are. And in that context, you might know that every year, apart from Hajj, which is the quota for Hajj is based on the population of countries outside, but for Umrah, Pakistanis are the biggest chunk of any nationality which visits Saudi Arabia.
MashaAllah.
Every year, more than 2 million Pakistanis visit Saudi Arabia just for Umrah.
2 million a year just for Umrah.
Just for Umrah. So that tells you how connected Pakistanis are with the land of two holy mosques.
Indeed, it's 2 million is not a small amount.
Yes, yes, indeed.
And hopefully we reach 10 million in the future.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, especially with expansion of the holy mosque.
Yes.
Your Excellency, you discussed some of the highlights you've done, but 7 months, you're still getting understanding about the changes, and every day there is a change. Any other highlights you would like to discuss during your official visit?
Well, in normal relationships, the high level visits actually provide a sort of a boost to the bilateral relations. But in the case of Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, we have such a deep and traditional relationship that our interaction at the leadership level is very frequent. In the 7 months that I've been here, our Prime Minister has visited twice.
MashaAllah.
And unfortunately, we did see the postponement of the visit of His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, to Pakistan this month. He was supposed to be in Pakistan, which was due to some scheduling issue. We have to postpone the visit for after he'll go, inshallah, in the first quarter next year. But that shows the frequency of our highest level engagement.
Indeed.
And it is traditional. That's this pattern of our engagement at the highest level is nothing abnormal. It's a normal in Pakistan-Saudi relationship. So that shows that the connectivity that both the countries have.
Indeed, it's a very strong and mutual tie, even at the highest and the lowest, because I know many individuals, they go back and forth from Pakistan to Saudi, and there's also even marriage between the two countries.
Yes.
Indeed. And Your Excellency, you discussed some of the bilateral cooperation. Please tell us more on other aspects and the importance of such relationship. Saudi and Pakistan has been known for many years. We consider you definitely not as a cousin, but as a brother.
Yes.
And history has shown it in the future, definitely.
It's mutual.
It's very mutual.
This feeling is mutual.
Tell us the importance of such relationship, because in the international arena, they know that we are very close. But the importance of it goes to show stability in the region, stability in brotherhood, and stability in all aspects.
See, I'll start with one instance. The OPEC Plus event that we saw a month or two ago. You must have seen that when there was criticism against the decision of OPEC Plus to cut the oil production, the government and in the media, in the Western media, the government of Pakistan issued an official statement just to let the rest of the world know that we are standing with our brothers in Saudi Arabia. This is the most latest example.
Yeah.
But throughout our history, I have not seen any instance where Pakistan needed help and Saudi Arabia kept quiet. No. Saudi Arabia was always there to support Pakistan in every concern that we had. And it has been the same on the other side. Pakistan had always tried its best to demonstrate to the wider world how important Pakistanis feel the relationship with Saudi Arabia is. And in that one thing that we need to work on in the realm of bilateral relations is that if we follow the vision of His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, his vision is not just Vision 2030 that is rooted in Saudi Arabia, but His Royal Highness has a vision for its external relations as well.
Indeed.
And what he very wisely did, His Royal Highness, was that he transformed the framework of the relationship between Saudi Arabia. So earlier we had a normal relationship, in the sense the interactions were generalized, but His Royal Highness agreed to convince and mention it to the Pakistani people that our relationship should have a different framework. So, and our government, obviously, keeping in view our reverence for the leadership in Saudi Arabia, agreed to the proposal, and we created what we call a Supreme Coordination Council. So
the Supreme Coordination Council.
The Supreme Coordination Council was a suggestion given by His Royal Highness according to his vision, how he sees the future of Pakistan-Saudi relationship. So the Supreme Coordination Council, His Royal Highness divided it in 3 pillars. One is the political and security pillar. We have very, very deep relationship politically and in the security realm. The second pillar was the economy pillar, because His Royal Highness also insists, and very rightly, that the depth of our political and security relationship should also be reflected in the economic domain.
True, indeed.
So, and His Royal Highness is very, very keen to build economic bridges between Saudi and Pakistan. And the third is social and cultural pillar. So these 3 pillars have the focus in our bilateral relationship, and this is sort of a comprehensive framework. If we follow this vision, we will see our relationship going from strength to strength, inshallah.
Inshallah, and I know it's not an easy task to maintain a strong relationship. It goes to a lot of different levels, different aspects, and different discussions. But it goes to show throughout history, alhamdulillah, mashallah, that we are doing something right. We are doing something correct, and we are doing something that's very fruitful in all aspects. And that's why a lot of nations, or I will say the world, the international arena, they look at Saudi Arabia and Pakistan as very strong ties. No matter what it is or anything like it, they're always on the same page because of what? Because of the highest level and also the lowest level. The people respect each other, they love each other, even on the highest level. They communicate regularly on the same page. And as we say, it's like they're living the same heartbeat, as what someone told me. Your Excellency, we spoke about the importance of such a relationship. What does the future hold and possibilities regarding the bilateral relation between Pakistan and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia? Pakistan is always doing amazing into pushing their country to the future, even though unfortunately Pakistan faces issues regularly every now and then. But you guys are very compassionate, and you guys are very humble into the challenges, and I feel like that's what makes you very strong as a nation and as a people. And Saudi Arabia is going through amazing changes, through development and everything, and you guys are part of the change, of course. For Saudi Arabia to be successful, you guys are part of the success. What does the future hold in the possibility of that? And I know it's like Pakistani has lots of investment in the kingdom in terms of the Vision 2030, and mutual ties is continuously in all sectors: health, education, tourism, and even trade.
Thank you. The future, inshallah, is very bright. One thing that I would like to point out, that the relations between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan are unique in the sense that whatever 2 countries you take in the world, even if they agree on most of the things, there will be some aspects where there will be disagreements. But in the case of Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, we have no disagreements on our strategic priorities. That means that the long-term strategic interests of Pakistan and Saudi Arabia coincide, and there is no divergence in our strategic interest, long-term strategic interest. That means that there is a open, wide field to deepen our relationship as much as possible.
Indeed.
Vision 2030 provides us with an opportunity to effect further development in Saudi-Pakistan relationship. Vision 2030 is a manifestation of the transformation of Saudi Arabia. It has many reasons. One of the reasons is the demography. Saudi Arabia is a very young country. 70% of the people below the age of 30, I suppose. And it's the same in Pakistan.
Yes, I know, I realized that.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that
There's
I was surprised.
Yeah, the same demography in Pakistan, but the only difference is that the population of Pakistan is now reaching 240 million.
The population, how much?
240 million.
200. That is a lot.
That is a lot.
Mashallah,
So,
that is a
so that means that we have a lot of young people. And these young people are well educated. They are very well versed in modern technologies.
So 150
IT.
million young generation.
Yes, yes. And this pool of people can be a factor in further boosting our bilateral relationship. We would want to support as much as possible the realization of Vision 2030, because a strong Saudi Arabia is in the strategic interest of Pakistan. Likewise, a strong Pakistan is in the strategic interest of Saudi Arabia.
Indeed.
So this mutual benefits of our relationship are innumerable, and we are working on so many areas these days where we can bring the potential of our young people together, more specifically in the fields of IT and the new technologies. And so I see a huge potential in economy, in social and cultural domain, in political domain. The sky is the limit when it comes to the potential between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia.
Yes, mashallah, Pakistan has, like as you mentioned, Your Excellency, 8 amazing tall mountains. So
Yeah,
I guess you guys are already on the mountain looking at the sky.
No, the north of Pakistan, it's amazing in the sense that there are the 3 highest mountain ranges in the world. The Karakoram, Himalayas, and Hindu Kush. These are the 3 highest mountain ranges in the world, and all 3 of them intersect each other in northern Pakistan. So we have, if I'm not wrong in my proclamation, but Pakistan, out of the 15 highest peaks in the world, 8 are in Pakistan. It may be out of the 20 highest, but I'm not sure. But
we just know 8.
Yeah, the 8 is the high. They are in Pakistan. We have this in the adventure tourism. There is no better place than Pakistan.
I've seen some videos and pictures, about tourism, but we're gonna get to that question. But like, it's just surprising. People do not realize what Pakistan is. So
Yeah.
this is going to be one of my questions. I promise you, Your Excellency.
Okay.
And for dear listeners, you definitely want to continue tune into the remaining of it. Your Excellency, you've been a diplomat for 30 years, an ambassador all over the world. How do you see the recent that's happening, the 5 years progress that is happening in the kingdom? I know you've been here for only 7 months, but like I'm sure the world have seen the changes happening in the kingdom, especially the past 5-6 years. How do you see it, and what's your perspective?
See, This is, as I mentioned earlier, this is amazing. I consider myself fortunate to be in Saudi Arabia during a time when we are witnessing this transformation. Uh, See, what is most important is the people in any country, and the Vision 2030, which is sort of a physical manifestation of the change that is occurring in Saudi Arabia. Uh, Vision 2030 is sort of a framework which guides the development in Saudi Arabia, but at the same time, it has given so much hope to the people,
Indeed.
so much confidence, such energy that I consider, like, let's see, I give you an example. This match between Saudi Arabia and Argentina,
Yeah.
the confidence and the spirit
We're above the sky, above the moon.
with which the Saudi team played, that confidence, that spirit is a manifestation of the transformation in Saudi society. So it affects every person, every area of society when people have hope. And I am so happy to see my brothers and sisters in Saudi Arabia carrying so much hope and potential because of the transformation in Saudi Arabia. And that is really, really important.
You know, I think that game kind of surprised everyone. Even,
Yes.
you know, we knew.
Even the Saudis.
You know, I think the world, you know, when they saw Saudi Arabia defeat Argentina and they saw it and they were like, that means what we thought was impossible became very possible.
That's precisely what it is. That was the manifestation. You see, Vision 2030, the transformation of Saudi Arabia,
Very ambitious.
it is huge. And this game showed that it is possible. You can beat whatever odds come in front of you if you have that hope, that spirit.
You know what? Speaking of odds, I was looking at the statistics of people assumption and prediction of Saudi winning that game. There was two or three of them. One of them was like 0.8%, which is 8%.
Yeah.
The other one was 0.04, which is 4%. The other one was 0.06. So it was not even 1% confidence in that.
Yes.
So can you imagine? And this is
Yes.
about the
world, yeah.
the poll all around the world. So people
Yeah.
were like, no, Argentina's gonna. So can you imagine how the world felt, how the
Yes.
GCC, how the every other nation saw us like Argentina as a giant, and when that Saudi team overcame that giant, the world was speechless for a few seconds, for a few moments, for the entire day. They're like, did that actually happen?
Yeah, yes. And so it shows that when the people have the spirit, they can do anything. Beating Argentina, I mean, it is, as you mentioned, it was sort of unbelievable. But it did happen. And that showed that the people in Saudi Arabia carry so much energy, so much potential, and they have now the confidence and the hope that they can do anything. And likewise, I think when Vision 2030 is going to be the same thing.
Inshallah, we're very optimistic
Inshallah.
for that.
Inshallah.
And I'm sure, Your Excellency, what you mentioned, I think that also goes to the people of Pakistan, because you guys face different hardship, left and right, years and anything possible. And every Pakistani that I meet around the world, studying, learning, living, this and that, they're always smiling, they're always happy. And because I remember one specific friend growing up in the States, and he tells me, he said, you know, us growing up, we always see as the future as like a potential of beauty. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, you ever go through a garden and the roses has not blossomed yet and everything? We always see it as blossoming and we know what to expect. So we always, no matter the situation. When he told me that, for me, when I was younger, I never understood that because he learned it from his father, from his grandparents, and anything. But now that I grow up and I learn more, I learn about the world, learn about the people and everything. It makes sense.
Yeah, no, we Pakistanis are a very resilient nation, and we sort of pride ourselves.
You guys are very humble, though.
On our resilience. But you see, our region, our country, had been in the middle of this wars that has been going on for the last 40 years in our region. It is very, you can imagine that if the superpowers are involved in wars on your borders, how would it impact your society? And that's exactly what happened. Our society was greatly impacted by our regional conflicts, but Alhamdulillah, we are out of it now. What remains now for Pakistanis is to regroup and chart out a vision for our future, and then try to attain it. But given knowing, I mean, I'm not saying it because I am a Pakistani. Of course I am, but I have huge faith in the potential of Pakistani individuals, in their talent.
Indeed.
And inshallah, we'll prove to the world and to ourselves that we can
Overcome
achieve.
anything.
Yeah.
Indeed. And Your Excellency, both spirits and hearts of the Saudi and Pakistan is always together and also in the same heartbeat. Your Excellency, people hear about Pakistan. They see it in films, they see it in pictures and everything. How will you describe Pakistan to the people, and what should the listeners know about Pakistan? And I think you're the best person. You're the diplomat, you're the ambassador. You've been 30 years traveling the world. I think you're the best person to ask.
Well, about Pakistan, as I mentioned, Pakistan is a big country, as I said, almost reaching 240 million population. But if I talk about the geography of Pakistan, we have all kind of topography in the world. We have the highest mountains in the world. That area is if there is any heaven on earth, the rustic beauty, the natural beauty, no place can beat Pakistan. The northern areas of Pakistan. We have the plains in the middle, which provides us the opportunity for our agriculture. We are primarily an agrarian society. We have very fertile lands, and then we have almost, if I'm not wrong, 1,000 kilometers of sea. So
1,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
That is a long.
Yeah.
Wow, mashallah. Okay.
So we have every kind of terrain, and we have every kind of weather. We have at least four seasons in Pakistan, all over Pakistan, and in some areas it go to 5-6 seasons.
What are the remaining ones?
Yeah, the fall and the stuff, we add that. So monsoon, fall, these are small seasons.
So you don't know, you need a boat, you need an umbrella, or you need a jacket?
Depend on in the area where you are.
Maybe all three.
Yeah. And then about the people, because people are the most important part of any
Culture.
country. A country is not the land. A country is the people.
Sure.
And the people of Pakistan, you will find so many similarities between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, and because of the reason that our identity, our culture is rooted in Islam, and so is that of Saudi Arabia. So the differences you will find will not be in the cultural qualities like hospitality and other stuff. The differences that you will find is perhaps in the way we cook our food, which might be different, and you would love it. And I know you love it. You mentioned,
of course, this is
and it's so many other things. You just need to experience it firsthand. Listening about some place, some people is a different experience, but firsthand experience demonstrates the factual position, the real people. So when I would urge my Saudi brethren to take out some time and visit Pakistan, especially if you are going in summers, go to northern areas, and you will never, I can assure you, you will never have such a peaceful and beautiful holiday anywhere in the world.
so as you mentioned earlier, you're gonna have dinner there. You're gonna have breakfast, lunch, and dinner outside.
Yeah.
I can imagine people right now. It's like, that's a good idea. Your Excellency, every country has its traditional food. We're gonna go like more into the culture aspect. What are some of the foods or something you recommend? Because we hear about it, but we're not sure. How will you describe it? What would you like to say about what's a traditional known Pakistani food? Because we're writing down notes, just so you know.
It will be some of my Pakistani friends might get annoyed if I name one dish, because
name your favorite. How about that?
No, it's there's so many, because every the geography, the terrain,
different regions
of different regions affect the culture and the food of that region.
It's like Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, exactly. So in North, there are so many amazing dishes that, like saji is one of our important dishes, especially saji. It's a way of cooking meat, slow cooking, and it's like an elaborate form of barbecue. It takes a lot more time, but the meat you eat in saji is amazing. Then you see the northern side, it's all meat, all about meat. So
I love that sound of that.
We eat there are so many variations of meat, how to cook meat in the north, that you will be amazed.
So I guess vegetarians and vegans don't like that.
Well, if you go towards south, you can be a bit more vegetarian,
flexible,
but not in the north.
We'll stick to the north part.
And the middle part of Pakistan, the plains, we have everything. Since we have an agrarian society, everything and every sort of ethnic group have their own way of cooking. And rice is in the middle. Basmati rice is, I would not be wrong to claim that Basmati rice, Pakistani Basmati rice, is the best in the world. And it is a very small area where it is grown, because the aroma of that rice is amazing. You can, if you are, when we were young and my mother used to cook rice, the smell would be everywhere in the house.
Amazing memories.
Yeah, and so if you are in there are so many dishes: meat, rice, biryani. You must have heard about biryani. It's a signature dish.
Of course.
So, but I can't name one dish, but every area has its own speciality.
We discussed before the show, Your Excellency, some of the traditional Pakistani food I tried here in the kingdom, in the region, and I was surprised. You guys have almost the same way of food, same ingredients, but different way of cooking it. Like I was saying about the Pakistani green tea.
Yeah.
You tell us about that, because I felt like I was surprised. It was very delicious. Not only that, it was a Pakistani Leban.
Yeah.
So tell us about it.
So first about Laban, we call it lassi.
Lassi.
And it is the main ingredients are curd and Is it called curd? Yogurt.
Curd, yogurt, okay.
And milk.
Milk.
And water and ice with a hint of sugar.
So they put ice and sugar.
Ice and sugar.
Okay.
And then you mix it for a long time.
Mixing.
Yeah.
So that's why their arms are very strong.
Yeah. And that's one of the favorite drinks of the middle part of Pakistan. Lassi is the middle part of Pakistan, and the sabaz chai, the green tea that you are mentioning. There are traditional green tea. There are so many variations of green tea.
There's variation of them.
There's so many variations of green tea, but the most famous green tea, the sabaz chai, which Pakistanis like a lot.
What's it called?
Sabaz chai. Sabaz means
Sabaz chai.
Sabaz is green.
Sabaz chai.
Sabaz chai. It is. Takes a lot of time to make. There's a lot of effort, and you have to again mix it in a peculiar way, and it would take you any person at least half an hour to make sabaz chai.
It takes half an hour.
Half an hour. The real thing, the green tea, takes half an hour because the quality of the tea would be determined by its color.
So you pretty much, if I do it for 20 minutes, you're gonna catch me. If
Yeah.
You're gonna know quickly.
So it has to be pure pink.
Okay.
So that is the color which has to come out.
You guys put something on top of it also, or
Yeah, it's like nuts and stuff.
Yeah, it was very delicious and like crunchy, like every now and then. So I was like unexpected. You don't know when it's
there different types of nuts that you sprinkle on the top.
Okay, and obviously you guys love rice. You like
of course. Rice is a staple like wheat, but depend on the area where you are. If you are in north, more wheat, less rice. But as you come down,
because you guys have the meat coming.
Yeah, but there's so many. It's a huge country, so many people. So there's a lot of variations of the food.
MashaAllah.
But I urge you to come and have a food tour of Pakistan.
That's the whole purpose of going there.
There's so many vlogs of Westerners having a food tour of Pakistan.
Yeah, but you guys come there skinny and they leave chunky.
It's the same in Saudi Arabia. I've gained 5 kilos in the last 7 months.
5 kilos of happiness.
Yeah.
We call that memories.
Yeah.
So it's I've seen many of the vlogs of people. They try the local food, the small towns, and the street carts and everything, and they say it's amazingly delicious. Simple food. And I learned one thing from a chef many years ago. He was like, you don't have to like it, but you have to try it. And anywhere around the world, for any type of food or anything like that, you have to try it once. And the people, when they try Pakistani food and they visit there, they try it again and again and again. So they're like, yeah, this is delicious. So
the food is it's very, very important in Pakistani culture. Food is very important because being a Muslim country, we don't indulge in drinking or any other activities. So every social activity, the focus is food. So it has to be good.
Indeed. You guys hit it right on the spot, I have to say. Your Excellency, of course, Pakistan is a tourist region. It is a tourist country, and many people, I won't say they won't know about it, but it's becoming much more popular nowadays with social media, as you mentioned, vlogs, and Westerners coming there. Yet it's very strong in regards of economy, economics-wise. It's very strong in health, it's very strong in military, defense, tourism, of course. Tell us more about that.
Well, about tourism, as I mentioned, there are 2 types of tourist attractions in Pakistan. One is the natural beauty of Pakistan, which I alluded to in our previous conversation, and then there is the historical significance areas. Pakistan is one of Pakistan hosts one of the oldest civilizations of the world. Mehergarh is, if I'm not wrong, about 6,000 years old civilization. The Indus Valley civilization.
6,000?
Yes, Mehergarh.
MashaAllah, that's amazing.
Yes. Indus Valley civilization is, again, in our part. Indus Valley civilization is slightly younger than the Egyptian civilization and Mesopotamian civilization, but it's almost the same time frame. And Indus Valley civilization has the biggest impact on our region. The word India comes from Indus. Indus is the biggest river in Pakistan. So Indus, as you know, in olden days, all human settlement was near
the river,
near the waters. So Indus Valley civilization is sort of the beginning of Indian subcontinental civilization.
Wow. So yeah.
So there's a lot to see in Pakistan. A lot to see in Pakistan. We hopefully, inshallah, will the government of Pakistan will try to focus more on the tourism aspect. We would need to develop some infrastructure for facilitation of the tourists. Although we have a lot of infrastructure, but still, if we want to expand it to the wider world, we need to work a little bit more on it. But see, about your the question, a strength of country is based on its people.
Indeed.
And the Pakistan's biggest strength is its human resource.
Sure.
It's a large country. We are the 5th largest country in the world.
Oh, mashallah.
And our young population, almost 60% below the age of 27, if I'm not wrong, something like that.
So a good 140 million,
Yeah.
150 million.
So, and that strength is then reflected in all the areas of a country, of every area, be it defense, be it technology, be it economy, be it like startups. I was amazed to see Pakistani boys and girls, the work they are doing in entrepreneurship. Their startups are amazing.
Mashallah, very creative out of nothing. Literally.
Yeah. So there's a lot of potential, and we hope to harness this potential for the betterment of our people, inshallah.
Inshallah, I'm very amazed. The young generations are doing amazing. I won't say they surprised me. They surprised themselves.
Yes.
Because I remember one guy, he's an entrepreneur, as you mentioned. I remember his name or what he was doing, but he was doing like online business. He was like, I started out of nothing, and now he's like a big corporation known around the world and stuff. They're like, if you thought to yourself, you ever do that? He said, no, not even my mother knew. I thought I will do it. So he was surprised. It's like you have to really invest in yourself. And Pakistan has definitely invested in themselves and the people, mashallah.
Yeah.
So that's why they're very successful, and they're known around the world as superpower, as I would say.
Thank you, you're kind.
Your Excellency, you've been here for 7 months. We want to know about some of your adventures, some of your experience here. What have you visited? What have you done? Any interesting story you would like to share with us?
It's not that long a time to have some fantastic experience or adventure, but I've been going around. I haven't, unfortunately, been to Alula yet, but my biggest desire is to go to Alula as soon as possible.
It's perfect weather now.
Yeah, it's perfect weather, and hopefully I'll be able to take out time to go. I've been driving around a lot, seen almost all the states, the region, the mantakas, and but there's so much more to see.
Where have you been so far, Your Excellency?
Oh, I've been to every region, almost every region. I have had the privilege of meeting at least 7, 8 Royal Highnesses, the governors. So I go to every governorate, call on the governor, pay my respect, and then see the areas around. So I'm starting to do it, inshallah, and let's see how things go.
You've done it in the summer, now we have to do it in the
Yeah,
winter.
the summer was one of the reasons. Now it's winters, and now I have time to
more easy,
yeah,
more comfortable.
Yeah.
Indeed. And any interesting story about the small towns or anything, the food? Is there anything was your favorite that you tried? I know rice is a big part of the Saudi culture here.
Yeah, well, when I make it a point that whenever I'm traveling, I like to travel by road.
By road?
By road, because it gives me more time and exposure to the landscape. Unless I'm going to a place where it's too difficult too long to travel by road, but I stop in the small places, ask for mandi or something whenever I'm traveling, and yeah, it's like I feel like home. I mean, wherever I go, I can connect to people. I can see their reactions. I can connect to their the essence of the people, because it's not very different. It's just the language, which is I don't see much differences culturally and otherwise.
You know, we love our rice and everything, but we're not as creative as you are in the spices yet.
Yeah, spices is one of the highlights of Pakistani food.
Any message, Your Excellency, you would like to say to the Saudi people regarding visiting Pakistan, or businessmen, or any terms of aspects, or the Pakistanis for them to come visit Saudi Arabia?
Yes, of course. You see, this is one of the challenge that I feel that I have, is that we have, as we mentioned, we have a very long-term relationship between the Saudi and Pakistani people. But now we are young countries.
Yes.
Saudi Arabia, there's a youth bulge. Pakistan, we have a youth bulge. It is our responsibility to make people experience both countries firsthand. You cannot understand Pakistan through a second-hand accounts.
You have to see it yourself.
You have to see it yourself. And believe you me, my Saudi brothers and sisters would be surprised when they visit Pakistan. It will change their notion of Pakistan. And likewise, I want Pakistani, the young population, to come and see the transformation in Saudi Arabia. This is not the Saudi Arabia of say,
years ago. Yeah.
What the elders in Pakistan would tell their experience of Saudi Arabia to the younger generation, it does not apply anymore. The younger generation of Pakistan needs to come to Saudi Arabia and see the transformation and see the opportunities. And likewise, the Saudi brothers and sisters need to see Pakistan firsthand, and only then they would realize the potential that exists between the two countries.
Indeed, you know, I could not have said it better myself, Your Excellency. Definitely, thank you so much.
Thank you
We're
very
very
much.
honored and very excited to have you join us.
It was a pleasure, and I am honored by your invitation.
Before we conclude, Your Excellency, any last word or message you would like to say?
See, the bottom line is that we do have differences with, like, we do a lay Pakistani person perhaps would not be able to communicate with a lay Saudi person verbally. But when you connect with each other, it will take you a very small time to realize that we are the same.
True indeed.
We have the same culture, we have the same religion, we have the same morality.
We have the same heartbeat.
Yes. And that is something which our younger generation should realize and understand.
Indeed. And Your Excellency, it was an amazing interview. I loved it. I love the experiences and the stories, and the way you described it was amazing.
Thank you very much. You are very kind, and I am honored to be here. I'm thankful to you for giving me the opportunity, and I look forward for our further interaction, and I look forward to offering you some Pakistani food.
How about this? In the future, when I go to Pakistan, I'll send you a selfie so
Sure.
you get to see it, and I'll wear the Pakistani tradition clothes, and I'll be next to one of the mountains you described.
But thank you very much.
It's an absolute pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency, the Pakistani ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Ameer Rathore, joining us here in the studio in the capital city of Riyadh, discussing the bilateral relationship and the continuation and friendly brothers as we are for many years, being on the same heartbeat, being on the same page, and standing next to each other during the good and bad times. It was a very fruitful interview. A lot of things were discussed: tourism, education, and every other aspects. But it was amazing to hear and to understand from the perspective of His Excellency about the deep-rooted relationship. That's all for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, for the Diplomatic Perspective with your host, Suleiman Al-Zahafi. Till further episodes, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Diplomatic Perspective. The Diplomatic Perspective with your host, Suleiman Al-Zahafi.